Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Velen, and this is the Thermal series, where I take you through several interlinked mods consisting of Thermal Foundation, Thermal Expansion, Thermal Innovation, Thermal Cultivation, and Thermal Locomotion. A lot has changed, so expect multiple videos covering these mods from the beginning. To start, you'll need several mods to get the full effect, and I have the list below in the description. This includes Patchouli for the instruction book, totaling 7 mods minimum. Let's talk about world generation and ores. Of course, you'll find all sorts of new things compared to the vanilla set, so things have also changed from previous versions. Specifically, the bituminous sand is no longer going to be giving fluid out in the real world when you mine these blocks, as there's no actual fluid anymore in-world for this mod set. But as before, you will find a plethora of different ores throughout the world. Now that's not all though, a lot of the textures have been updated and a lot of alloys are in this mod set. Rockwool has always been a staple of the thermal mods. Specifically, this is a variant of wool made from slag, which is a byproduct of multiple machines. Using this, you can make a fireproof wool. Adding in yet another mod, connected textures will allow the different glass styles that these mods add in to connect their textures. If you look here on the left, I have hardened glass. This is blast resistant. We have signalum glass, which will give off a redstone signal. Lumium glass, which gives off a light effect greater than that of a torch by 1 block radius. And we've got enderium glass, which is blast resistant and, well, just looks a little bit more fancy with the outlining, but it also is a bit more expensive. We've got some new mobs. We've got a Basalz, a Blizz, and a Blitz. Each one of these will have a different drop. As you can see here, we've got a Blitz Mote, a Blizz Cube, and a Basalz Shard. Each of these can be used to grind up and make different materials. These are all very unique items that can be made, but with a little bit of challenge and difficulty. You'll have to find these in the appropriate biomes. Basalz are located in mountainous, Blizz in cold biomes, and of course you'll find Blitz in more arid landscapes. Now if you wanted to know a whole bunch about this mod set, or you just need something a little bit more in-game reference, there is the Thermalpedia. Now this, when combined with the Crescent Hammer, which is just something made from iron pretty much, you can make the Thermalpedia. It is highly usable for a lot of questions that you may have. When in doubt though, you can just go to the entry index and start typing in here. But I do recommend you have this because if you have it in hand when you're looking at something appropriate, you can sneak and then hold right click and you will automatically go to that page. It's pretty much invaluable sometimes when you're trying to figure something out if it is usable, specifically with the machines, which I will show you later on, perhaps in another video. Alright, that Crescent Hammer that I mentioned that you'll need in order to make the book, it doesn't actually get used up in the crafting recipe of this, so you'll get the Crescent Hammer back. What good is it otherwise? Well, you can use it to rotate blocks. Also, it's used for picking up machines, so if you've made any number of these machines here, and you sneak right-click with your Crescent Hammer, you'll automatically pick it up. Let's talk a little bit more about armor, now that we've gotten into the tools, armor, and, well, we'll get to locomotion in a moment. But with some of these new suits, you have a lot more options. This first one here is the Hazmat suit. I am currently wearing it. I'm also in survival mode, and you can see here that I currently have a durability that isn't that great, but it is slowly dropping. Why is that? Because I'm standing on magma blocks, and I'm not taking any damage. This is one of the benefits of it. It does give you a certain measure of armor. Each of these will give you armor equivalent to that of about chainmail. And essentially, if you have any bad status effect, the Hazmat suit will keep you protected for the most part. And for that, it's just really good for working in hazardous environments. Next, we're going to cover the Beekeeper's suit. This one will protect you from pricklies, specifically cactus and sweetberry bushes. Oh man, those things can get annoying. But most importantly, it can protect you from bees. Let's say you accidentally anger one. Well, you don't want the bee to die, but this will keep them from actually doing so. They can't sting you. It's kind of cute, actually. You can rub the belly a little bit. It's just very helpful to, well, take care of bees in a little bit safer manner for yourself and the bee. Next up, we've got the diving suit. This, besides just making you look really spiffy, will allow you to swim faster, which is really greatly appreciated. But also, you notice that my air supply is going down very slowly. Not only that, it will also allow you to mine faster underwater. Going back into more tools, we've got the Insightful Crystal. This being a little bit more challenging to make because you need a bottle of enchanting to actually start crafting it. It can store your XP levels. Let me put this on my hotbar, then I can just right click and it will start storing XP. If you need to regain the XP, you just sneak and replace. You can also change it so that you have auto collect enabled or disabled. So if you are to pick up XP, instead of it going directly to you, it will go directly into your little crystal. Now let's talk about explosives. There's quite a few that have been added. Let me introduce you to PNT. This is Phytogrow in a large area. Phytogrow is basically a very super strong fertilizer. Now, I can put one down and I can light it with a flint and steel just like I would TNT. But in this case, we're going to use a remote detonator. If I walk up to this thing and I right click on it, you'll see that the light lights up. That does not mean things are going to blow up. There is one hotkey in all of this mod, and it's pretty much the V key. So if things are not working for you, make sure to check your key bindings. That being said, if I press V, I can then change it to detonate mode. But before I do that, I can still keep it on prime. If I want to change this back out or I don't want to detonate this, I can sneak, right click, and it will go away. You hear the ding there, that means that it is no longer highlighted. The button is not yellow. Now, if I want, I can detonate multiples of these by clicking on each one of these. And if you want to look at it, you can see here it will say 3 out of 16 blocks are primed for detonation. So if I back up, I press V to change it to detonate mode. Let me actually get some height so you can see what these are going to do, and then I press the button. Pow! That is a lot of bone meal. So let's move on to some other things, like the Phyto Grenade. This is the only one that's actually a grenade. The rest are all grenades, but it will work in a small area. Basically, you can throw it and it will explode, but it has a cooldown, so you can't just spam these non-stop. Right now, I'm holding the button. You see how long it takes for this to actually work, and you can see the area that it affects with these green particles as well. Now, I'm a big fan of using the remote detonators, so let's actually use them on this, Slime Explosives. By using it, it slimes things in a big area, gives them a slimed effect and a huge knockback. With the slime effect, you can bounce on blocks, just as if you were a slime. Redstone Explosives, as one might expect, set off redstone in a big area. This will also be useful for setting off other area explosives if you so desire. Radiant Explosives will set off a light effect, harming undead, and lighting an area up for a time. Disruptive Explosives will send entities sprawling across the map, just like they were Endermen. Just be careful, you enter that field and you'll be affected as well. Tectonic Explosives are used to essentially mine things, very simply. Just be careful, if you mine out too big of an area, it could totally destroy your frame rate or create too many drops all at once. Inferno Explosives are used to, well, basically set entities and blocks alight in an area. So you'll just want to be very careful about this, as you could easily burn down your base. The Glacial Explosives will put out fires as well as instantly freeze an area, and also entities in that area, giving them a chilled effect, similar to the Blizz attack, which will reduce movement and damage that the entity does. Fulminating Explosives will bring the thunder. Also, it may give the shocked status effect, which will reduce your attack speed. So let's talk about locomotion. Now in this case, have you ever run into the situation where you're laying rails and you need one to cross the other and you're just worried that it's going to then like hook up and go in the wrong direction? Well, there's now crossover rails. You put this in here and it should allow it to cross over. Simply enough, you can push it and there you go. It now can go in the different directions, allowing it to proceed as it normally would. And that's right, this is an explosive charge in a rail cart. all of those explosives that I have shared with you are now available in cart variants as well, so you can send these down the line to your friend's base. You ever wanted to make a rail system but got tired of putting torches every few feet so the mobs would stop spawning? Well, now there's Lumium Rails. They come in all the same variants as the regular rails do, but they also give off a light level of 15, so you just need to put one of these down every so often, and now you should be able to have them light up the path for you instead of torches. Ever wanted to put rails underneath the water? Well, now it's an option with Prismarine Rails, and they come in all the same varieties as the others, but you will need an underwater minecart to make the best use of this. So if you use one of these, you can still push yourself and continue going underwater as you normally would. But you'll also notice that my air supply is not dropping whatsoever because I am safe and secure in my little underwater cart. And I think I'm going to stop there for this brief intro to the foundation, tools, armor, and locomotion of some of the thermal series. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give a like, comment, subscribe, and as always be sure to stop by on Twitch, click the notification bell, and keep an eye open because I'll be having plenty more thermal series mods coming your way, showing off a lot more of what these mods have to offer. Until next time, folks, I'll see ya.